services that we do, and we work with local schools around the area, and then they know us.
Excellent. And Mantoa, what I need to check with you is, as we know, a birth certificate, your ID book is like gold. That your ID card and a birth certificate is like gold in terms of accessing funding, whether it's a SASA grant, access to social development services, health. If you don't have an ID or birth certificate, or there was issues upon registration, that can be really, really frustrating and challenging for parents who already find themselves in difficult circumstances, because without these documents, your gateway or the door to services are closed. So you've indicated that you support and assist families and parents in terms of accessing these documents. Can you tell us more about how, in what capacity you assist them?
All right. Yes. In terms of documentation, Mariam, it's a very sensitive issue. And I like the fact that we are talking about Human Rights Day. It is a right of every child to have a sense of belonging. So the document is part of a sense of belonging to every child. However, in this situation, in regard of the OVC children, we have a lot of situation whereby the parents are from outside, like Lesotho, and some of the parents, maybe they are deceased, children are orphans. So we intervene in those regards, whereby a child will go to school without a documentation, and when he or she reach matric, it becomes a challenge. So we assist in terms of communicating with Department of Home Affairs and deeply write a proof to say how long we know this child, where the child was born, and actually intervene in terms of the Lesotho embassy as well, to reach out to them to say we have this kind of child here and the child needs 1, 2, 3, 4, whereby the embassy will also assist in terms of doing a temporary document for the child to be able to go to Lesotho, whereby there is a need for a child to go to Lesotho and do Lesotho documentations. And we assist with a social relief funds in terms of those situations, so that the child can have transport to go to Lesotho and do documentation with the help of the relevant family members on that side. However, in the South African children, whereby parents may be delayed, we also assist in terms of Home Affairs to say that this is a late birth registration, so that they can quicken the process and assist the child to be able to write their matric as well.
And I'm so pleased you brought this up, because encompassing that right to dignity is the right for proper documentation, because your documentation is your identity to say who you are, where you belong, and you are legally where you're supposed to be. And without that documentation, your dignity has been stripped, because you essentially become an alien. And what is an alien? A non-existent person, an individual. And we don't realize that in that right to human dignity is a right to a proper documentation. And I commend the foundation, both you and Mantoa, in assisting children to obtain those documents to become legal, because it restores their dignity, restores their confidence, and then it opens up doors for opportunity. And I think often we overlook that, and the fact that obtaining a documentation costs money. There's a transport factor in getting there. Sometimes there's payment for those documentation, compulsory payment, and sometimes people don't get documentation because they don't have the funding, because it's a toss-up between having bread to eat every day or having a meal to eat, and I need money. Do I starve, or and save the money for documentation, or I need to eat because that's my right? My first need is to eat. While both are equally important for dignity and survival. Muzi, can you elaborate on this?
Yes, we find difficult to refer clients or take them to Home Affairs, especially when we have to travel for a long distance. Like in the area, we have Maponya Mall, where there's a home affairs, but sometimes they don't assist beneficiaries as expected. They refer them to a bigger site of home affairs, which is just around Orlando West, next to Mandela and Sisulu Street. So in that way, we need transport, and currently the center is struggling on that. And all these services, they need funding. And yes.
Okay, I'd like to discuss the Let's Talk initiative with Mantoa and you. On Friday, so I was so proud Salam Media was able to partner with you and assist in terms of providing dignity packs to the campaign, to the girls who came for the Let's Talk program. Let's discuss this lecture, because for me to be proactive is very, very important, because often you're assisting when there's a problem and then you are trying to assist for a solution. But for me, preventative and proactive measures, it's what is going to benefit society in the long term, and also have well-being members of society in all domains, people who can make informed decisions, who are well, and that. So Mantoa, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about the Let's Talk initiative? What informed the decision to run that campaign, and why is that campaign so important?
Okay. With the Let's Talk program, we are in partnership with HIPSA, which is HIV South Africa organization. The program was initiated last year, October, with our organization. And it was a great honor to have this opportunity, because we realize that the girls within our communities are really at risk in a situation of looking at our backgrounds as well, whereby our communities right now, there's a high rate of crime. Our children are now, especially the girls, I'm talking about the girls, they are now being involved into relationships that they are not intended to, just because of poverty, meaning that their background situation leads them to that situation, especially those who are now becoming young adults. They intend to have, they want money so that they can be able to have those needs that are required as a girl to become healthier and hygienically clean as well when they walk in the street, to gain their self-confidence. So this program, initially, it's like a life skill program that prevent such a background situation, such behavior from our girls, so that they can have a positive decision making into their life, to say that no matter what background I'm coming from, I know who am I know what I want, and I know how to get through this situation to get what I want. So we are trying to empower the girls within the communities to say that you are able to survive without that kind of relationships, or that kind of risk that are being intended through social norms.
And I'm so pleased, and you made two valid points in terms of educating them and empowering them to say, yes, why put yourself out there at risk? You have potential, you have promise, the world, you have a window of opportunity, you have people supporting you. Don't enter relationships where there's a great element of risk to your health, to your dignity, to yourself. So, and tell me, this program now, Muzi, is it just people come to the, how do you roll it out? You identify girls to come to the center, or are you also going to take this out in the communities, given the COVID restrictions and protocol and challenges? Have you considered maybe having venues where a few learners can come at the time, and then you do it online? Or how are you rolling out this Let's Talk campaign, Muzi? Muzi, can you hear me? I think Muzi, can you hear me? Did you hear my question?
Hello,
okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You can go ahead.
Network. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
I
So
couldn't get
Muzi,
the whole question,
okay, the
but
question was
yes, I
how
did
you.
get part of your
Mhm.
question. On the issue of social distancing and all the preconceived.
Mantawa, Muzi seems to be having a network problem. Maybe you can take over and you can just answer that on behalf of the foundation.
Yeah, it's my
How do you
connection.
how are you rolling out the program?
All right.
Okay.
We are.
Yes, Mariam, can you hear me now? Can you,
I can. Okay, you can
Okay.
respond.
Should I?
Muzi, I'm running out of time. Let Mantawa respond, and then hopefully we can invite you again one day into the studio. Then we
yes,
can
yes,
cut out
Mariam.
this. Okay, so let Mantawa respond.
All right. In terms of
Okay.
identifying the gaps for Let's Talk, we are looking for age 10 to 17. So we approach the local sports facilities whereby we know that they deal with a certain number of the girls within the team. And we also approach the local schools to say that we need the children from grade 4 to grade 8 from the primary schools, and we also approach the high schools. With the schools, we are intended to cooperate in terms of the life orientation period, whereby we will be able to maintain the COVID-19 regulations. So in terms of the children who are at schools, we use that period, we go to a class per a period time that is allocated so that we can focus to that certain number on that hour and move to another classes just like that. And with the sports facilities as well, we have community halls that we are using, so we make sure that when we book the venue, it's hygienically cleaned. We have our sanitizers. We encourage the children to have their mask as well. And then we maintain the number of 50 per session so that we cannot have overcrowded situation. So after having a 50 of the children, when the session is done, that's when we are able to wait maybe for a period of an hour and have another session. We also enroll our OVC children to the program. Hence, we have children that are at the age of 10 and up to 17. So with them, we have our hall here in our organization that we are using for them. So our session starts around 2 o'clock afternoon as soon as they come back from schools, and then we maintain the number as 50 as well, and we do the social distancing within the hall as it is huge enough to maintain the big number.
And that is perfect. And I wish you strength as you continue your Let's Talk initiative, as well as I'd like to acknowledge every member of the Crystal Foundation, Crystal Fountain, in terms of everything that you do to support the most vulnerable, to assist them in terms of their right to human dignity, so that they can have the confidence as well as the opportunities to become positive members of society who will contribute for a brighter future with a positive social cohesion. Thank you so much for joining us here on Salam Media, your online humanitarian platform. Good mornings. It's still morning, and may you always be under the mercy and protection of the Almighty.
Thank you, Miriam. It is our honor and we appreciate the opportunity. And we believe that whoever is listening here do understand exactly what we are looking for and what we are doing. And we really appreciate your support from Salam Media. It really made a huge difference to those children. We received a lot of thank you messages on Friday night. The parents really appreciated the dignitary packs that you offered to them, and the coaches will be able to proceed with the session of netball with the balls that you provided and the whistles, and they were so excited. Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. As we say, we want to be part of the solution in restoring the right of human dignity. Thank you, Mantoa.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're going to take for a short break, and when we get back, we're going to be speaking to author Adila Patel, author of Muzi, Kids Entrepreneurs, and I'm told she'll be launching her book today as well. All this after the break, only on Salam Media.